Greetings, Pauli, and nice talking with you again. It's my pleasure after maybe 2 or 3 years since our last interviews. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I'm doing good. Honestly, I could I had better days, but it's all right. Nothing to complain so far. How about you?
I'm good too, thank you. So, Coldbound, let's say, new chapter. And I want
Yes.
to start the first question with the genre. Because when you started this band, you have started with mainly black metal. But now
Mhm.
you decided to go more with melodic death metal and also doom elements. Uh,
Yes.
why this change?
Okay. Um, yeah, as you said, I started doing black metal in the beginning, or something that sounds like black metal, anyways, because I think the quality is really bad. But anyways, this is for the record. Um, Honestly, I don't know. Well, the reason why this record sounds more, let's say, melodic death or slash doom, is because maybe a bit more than a year ago, I start recording some music on the analog um, external effects that I purchased back then, and I got to learn some sort of licks and tricks around editing and mixing or mastering music. So from the first album, the first two tracks, the intro and the invocation, technically are one track which I divided on two. But this whole two tracks were the very first song I recorded with a new setting up I had bought back then, and I was thinking, what if I actually put Coldbound on a hiatus and make another band with another name and focus only on melodic death metal. But then again, I realized that Coldbound is not having any identity as a black metal name or something like that. It's nothing that connected to the black metal mentality or something. So I thought Coldbound could also fit nicely on a melodic death metal aspect. So I kept on recording songs that have the similar image, similar sound, and similar presets. As a matter of fact, I managed to make whole album on the same genre. So, yeah, it was time for the fourth release, I guess.
Well, that's so far what I heard on the new album. You still have black metal elements a little, so they still exist there.
That's interesting because I heard that from many people before that there are many black metal elements, but I can't really spot them.
Well, I can spot them maybe from the vocals. Uh, my opinion.
Oh yeah, of course. No offense. Just like when I start reading the reviews from the new album, like most of the people said, this total change of genre, it made me feel so good because I really want to take Coldbound outside of the black metal element. I think it's senseless right now to keep on doing black metal, but as I said, it's so interesting that still some people can reflect the black metal imagery on the music. But it is okay. It's no problem with that. I think it's funny.
Yeah. Well, then the Gale. It's entitled your new album, and what is the concept behind this album?
The concept, well, on the track number, uh, where, yeah, track number 8, actually. I forgot how many tracks the album has. On track number 8, Shades of Myself, the motto is "Living is an act of courage," which technically it's a motto I've been following since 2012, where I moved from Greece to Finland, and then I lived in Finland until 2016. So for 4 years, actually, I spent some really odd situations, mostly survival situations, let's say, through some hardships. And when I moved to Sweden, where I live now, those kind of memories backflashed, and it actually inspired me on making music again. by then I didn't knew what that music would be, what it would sound like. But the main concept of the album is actually my personal 4 years of struggling on many ways, not only financial or with people relationships or whatever. It was struggling on every aspect, even on the part of living. So it's all my, how to say, all my struggling of 4 years in one album. And of course, mostly it's the point is to influence people to keep on moving. That if you find an obstacle, jump through it, or problems are created in order to be solved. So no one of us should give up on any matter. That was the main concept. Just keep on going.
Yeah, so actually even on the previous albums the main theme was the same.
On the first two albums it's a rather touchy subject to talk about because it's really it's really depressive shit, in fact. So that was something that I will never actually publish because in the beginning I wrote that lyrics from the first two albums are never gonna be published. So ain't gonna happen. Not because I don't want to. Even if I want to, I don't have the lyrics anymore anywhere saved. And on the third album, the Rights Under Moonlight, the lyrics are mostly about nature. I mean, I had an obsession back then with the moon, in fact, and the full moon. So I was recording the whole album. It took me a year, and recording it during the full moon phases.
Yeah. You released also a video for the song My Soul Has, but actually this song is a poem.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's right.
So, do you have in mind to release more videos or maybe a lyrical video?
I have released a lyrical video last year on the Eminent Light. By then, I mean last year, all the songs were pretty much ready. Just some how to say, settings or arrangements were left to be done back then. So it took like a year to finish all those things. But we released that lyric video with footages from the video clip My Soul Has. And to be totally honest with you, it was nowhere near to a plan to release a video clip. The main idea was actually born last year, almost same time last year, where me and Paulina, we took a drive over a remote area in the county where we are living here in almost beginning of northern Sweden, where there was a ship wreck from the World War II. And we took some footages from there with the thinking of creating a video clip for the Eminent Light, but this escalated as a lyric video. So I think a month ago I came back from work to home and I had that idea while being tired to actually cut all the scenes and edit them nicely on my MacBook in order to create a video clip. So this video clip is a product that was done in like 5 hours or 6. And it was my very first experience on actually creating a video clip. So I don't really know if I'm gonna make another video clip in the near future, but there's been an idea actually, which I don't think I should reveal yet, but it's something that might come up next year, 2019. Maybe new release until then, I don't know, but of course there will be more video content later.
But did you already start or thought about a next release actually?
I've been recording some demo riffs. That's all for now. And of course I have plenty of ideas, like image as well for the new release or the sequel of the Gale. It's more proper to say. It's not gonna be like a different kind of release. It's actually gonna be the Gale Part 2, but with another name. It's pretty much gonna be similar, and similar mentality, similar imagery, a little bit more aggressive so far. But yeah, of course, I got really stunned from the reaction of the people. I never expected such a thing so far, so a release is gonna happen soon. Well, I don't know when, but it's gonna happen soon for sure.
Yeah, but I have seen you have also gotten many reviews actually. So how people responded to this album?
The majority responded nicely, unexpectedly nicely, which is great. Of course, there have been some really interesting reviews. I mean, 1 or 2 reviews that I have read that are not digging the album. That's totally okay. But I have learned something over the last years being with Arvas and doing my stuff with Coldbound, that I should not take criticism negatively. Of course, when we make music, it will not fit all sizes of ears. So some people might not like it, or some people will like it in the end. But I'm really valuing the fact that most of the reviews so far has been positive, and that people actually have liked it, which means the world to me.
Yeah. Well, since the release of Right Under Moonlight, you decided to create your own label also.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Why did you decide to make your own label and not release the album with other labels?
Technically for a bunch of reasons, but I will name a few critical. The way that the music industry is working nowadays. I mean, if you check here in the European Union, Article 13, for example, of music copyrights and royalties belonging to the artists, is totally a devastating topic.
Yeah, I know.
So, of course, it's fun. It's awesome to get your music out there. But nowadays, thanks to technology and all those means, we can do it ourselves. And I don't understand what's the point actually to make someone rich with my music when I can actually distribute it myself. So that was the first idea of the birth of the label, which actually so far has only me. Then again, when I released Right Under Moonlight, in the end of the distributing campaign, I realized I lost more money than I actually earned, because I paid for my own prints when I did that collaboration with Black Lion Records, which belongs to a friend of mine from northern Sweden. And yeah, anyways, I lost more money than I made in that case. And searching for a label, it's quite hard. People are not really interested in new music, or especially when there's only one person presenting it, because there's so much music out there anyways. So I don't have any contacts, to be honest, major contacts with labels especially. It took some search for a label. I have sent many emails, but I didn't got the answer I was sort of expecting for. I'd rather say that most of the labels wanted a really bulky fee in order to release an album, which I didn't find the reason why to do that, when the same job I can do it myself, and maybe for free. I can actually invest time and energy on something that I have created, and that's totally okay, because I never valued any other activity around me more than anything that has to do with music. So on that sense, it was not a problem for me to promote my own music rather through the label. So basically that's the reason actually why I made my own label and why I released it, everything myself. Technically independent, but
yeah, I agree with you. And as I'm also involved into the scene and being in contact with bands, with labels, I kind of have seen how things are working. But you are the one that make all your own, promoting the band and keep it all alive. So what message do you have for the bands that are in your same situation, and what should do to promote themselves better and make their music a bit more known to the public?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. There's no secret ingredient of the recipe, because I don't think I have done the work that perfect. But what I have to, how to say that? Like a good suggestion is to invest time. Money not so much, but mostly time, and keep a normal pace every day, little bit. Because if you keep your promotion inactive for some time, then you will not be that motivated to continue doing it. So it actually takes time. It's not happening over one night, unless you're a big band, in my opinion. But it takes time, effort, many headache pills. I don't know, but it's definitely possible. And of course, a good record. If the music is good, then the music is gonna speak for itself.
True. And yes, time is the main key, I think.
Oh yes.
And also the energy and the motivation, wanting to do more for yourself, to do more for your band. But sometimes it's said that some bands don't have this success, let's say so, because some struggle a lot to do. And you mentioned something earlier that today I observe also that when it's something new, people don't want to check. I mean, it's kind of hard for them to try something new, and sometimes I'm the same. I receive and I see a lot of bands, and sometimes it's hard for me to try something new. Just maybe thinking that maybe this wouldn't be what I like, but sometimes I try, and most of the time I'm impressed by some underground bands that have released, in my opinion, some albums that even a known band in the scene doesn't impress me much. So that's the reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The music is technically recycled all the time, and that's nothing wrong. I think it's nothing wrong with that. Of course, it's rather awesome to have youngs all around the globe releasing. I mean, if you go on Metal Archives and you check the latest additions on bands, you'll get amazed on how many new bands are popping up every single hour. It's rather amazing. It's so awesome thing that people invest on music and create music. Because anyways, whatever we record is gonna remain no matter what. It's gonna be archived. It's gonna stay there until the end of times. Pretty much, unless World War III crashes and that doesn't matters or means anything anymore. But the main problem that we all face, as I mentioned before, is time. Life is built on structure that we actually have to follow the life instead of letting life following us, sadly. So we have to run the errands every day, we have to follow rules of the machinery, we have to make a living, not from music of course, but doing some other job that we have to do, otherwise we can't live out of anything. And as I've been saying to my partner many times, that's a personal saying of me, that I've been always thinking, I have time for nothing actually. I'm occupied most of the time, and for me the most suitable thing is to turn the night to the day and the day to an ocean, so I will have endless time.
Yeah, exactly. But do you have plans hitting the stage as well?
Yeah, that's a rather interesting question. As you know, we never have done a gig so far because the material we had is not worth of going on stage. But with the Gale, I've been start thinking of it, that it will sound really nice on stage. So there's been a suggestion so far from Helsinki for the next year, in 2019, at some point in the late 2019, which, to be honest with you, I've been considering as a golden shot. So for next year, it's gonna be at least one gig, and if that gig happens, it's gonna be the one that I just described right now. But nothing is yet confirmed. It's just only talking. No signatures has drawn down. So it's all about negotiating. And yeah, so far that's the plan. That we go all in for that one show in Helsinki, which also is gonna be filmed if it happens. I mean, okay, that's a rather utopic to talk about, because there, as I said, there was no signatures so far or any contracts that the gig is gonna happen. But I have been in contact with a good friend of mine who recorded a gig of Arvas in Germany, So yes, been also recruiting live bands so far. I have been in contact with some really good friends, including Andy, who did the keyboards on the record. So yeah, we are working on it. It will be rather interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't lately matching with the news with Arvas, but are you still active with them?
I think I got kicked last January.
Oh, what are the reasons?
Oh, I don't blame you because I never wrote something on public. Well, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know why, but that's totally okay. Actually, also Ketil and Arne, that we were in the band, we also got kicked, all three of us. So it's only VRX right now on four of us, as far as I know.
Yeah, but you also are involved in a project, Disclosure.
Yes.
So what are the plans with that band as well?
No plans so far. The fancy story with the Disclosure is that the Pasi that actually traveled from Rahe to Hudiksvall to pay a visit in my house here. Maybe, as you also know, he's been a main music writer of Karen back in the days when Karen was really active.
Yeah.
So I also think he recorded all albums with Karen and main music writer, except the last single of Karen that he was kicked by them. So yeah, he came here to visit me, and we sat on a Sunday morning after being hangovered, checking out my studio setup, and yeah, I actually threw a drum beat for him, and we started recording. And I think it was first time he ever recorded on a 7-string guitar, because he got fascinated on the same time, and on the other hand, he got also weirded out on the 7-string because he had some troubles on stretching, maybe, I don't know. But we finished the song through one day in the night, which was the first single release. And ever since, we never met, but we keep on really close contact, and we are planning next moves, maybe. Like one of us is gonna visit each other and we are gonna record something. But definitely this was a huge deal for me, because Paz is not only a friend but a musician I really appreciate, and his music gives me goosebumps and tears, I have to say. So on the first hand, playing with him is a huge privilege, and on the second hand, listening to Pasi playing metal music again, it was a really big thing for me, because I could get the response from the people. They were actually really excited. The Finnish press that Pasi really something sounded. So it was really fun. It was only positive things out of it. It was a really radical thought, but it actually was good.
So yeah, maybe you plan to do more and release a new album. I mean, an album.
Of course, I mean, Pasi is... if you give a guitar to Pasi, he's gonna just make songs, make things that actually sound good. I've never seen a guy before who could actually play everything and look at it and looks like it's so easy. It's unbelievable. But as I said before, we just need time. Otherwise, everything else is easy. Money is not the problem. It's just time.
Yeah. What other plans do you have with Coldbound for the future, besides writing new materials and planning to hit the stage also?
Yeah, of course. Right now, the biggest priority is to dispatch the pre-orders of the album, which we have still available. Some, I mean, half of the stock is already gone, and that's a huge thing. I never expected that. So first goal right now is to dispatch all the orders to the people who purchased it, and I really want to thank them. That means the world to me. It's the only support I can get straight. And after that, maybe I'll start recording demos or pre-prods of the next album. But so far I have not recorded anything, I just done some rigs. And after that, we'll start the negotiations for the concert that maybe will happen next year.
Well, maybe you will pass over here in Romania and we meet and to see you performing also.
would be interesting because I got a request from a promoter or agency, better, but I don't want to say the name because I declined it. It was in Cluj-Napoca, I think, the name of the town in Romania.
Yeah.
And well, I had to decline because it was time-wise, I didn't have enough time or resources in order to form a band. So it was really nice actually that someone contacted me and asked me to go on stage. But that was great, and has happened a little bit more often than before lately. Before it was like straight no, because I was alone and I wanted to keep it that way, like not have any live band. But right now I'm keep on getting some really interesting invitations, let's say, which so far I will decline because there's no band to go on stage. I still struggle on forming one.
Yeah. Well, it was my pleasure once again to talk to you, and yeah, hope to see you one day on stage and or meet somewhere else.
Yeah.
Thank
Definitely
you
will
for this
happen.
interview.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Well, cheers to you.
Here's to you too.